I would like to welcome all the Choshev guests that have come from near and afar to celebrate with us a dual celebration, a celebration of a Siyum, of a completion of a tractate of the Talmud, which Igor has miraculously done in how many months, Igor? 3 or 4? 5?
3 to 4.
3 to 4 months. Not only that Igor did the Masechta from cover to cover, and it was his first entrance in Gemara, but he memorized the whole Shakel of Atayah, the give and take in the Gemara. That is really almost a first for our Samech, that a person should memorize the Shakel of Atayah in 3-4 months, the give and take. And he had 2 people who he was learning with. He learned both the Bekias of the Gemara, and he learned Be'iyun, many of the Taisasin, and many of the disputes of the Rishonim, the earlier commentaries and the later. It's a very tremendous feat, and we're here to celebrate that. In conjunction with, Igor felt the best way to celebrate that is in conjunction with the birthday of his father, who he reveres very, very greatly. Mr. Shernam Zav.
Yeah,
and we wish you...
Great gift for my birthday, you know.
That's the gift. It's a birthday present for you.
For me, it is an unbelievable event, absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm so happy I cannot even tell you.
Igor.
So friendly people, so friendly faces, so great environment in what my contrast to my life of my son. So I'm very happy, and I thanks for all of you, for what you give opportunity to my son.
One of the most important things is to Igor is Kibbud Av V'Em, honoring his father and his mother, and therefore he felt that the best way to celebrate the Siyum is on the birthday of his father, which is today. Is that right?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Erev the birthday. Okay. So we know that the Torah calls Erev Pesach, the Torah says Pesach. So sometimes the day before, that's really the day of the celebration. The Torah calls the 14th day of Nisan Pesach. Okay? So this is the day that we're celebrating, and the way he's celebrating his father's birthday is by making the Siyum. So without any further ado, we want to ask Iyor to make the Siyum on the Masechta.
Thank you, Rabbi Rakowski, for the beautiful introduction. And certainly a happy birthday to my father. And I'll say a few words later. I'll go right into the Siyum at this point. Thoroughly enjoyed learning this Masechta. And the ending was beautiful. This is 2 stories of Rabbi Akiva traveling with his colleagues. In the first story, they're traveling on a road, and from a distance they hear the sound of Rome. As Macher Shah explained, celebrating. You hear their celebration. And Rabbi Akiva's colleagues begin to cry, and Rabbi Akiva himself is smiling. They ask him, "Why do you smile?" And he asks them, "Why do you cry?" The rabbis say, "We cry because, look, these idol worshippers, they live in calm and insecurity, and our temple is burnt down. Should we not cry?" Rabbi Akiva says to them, "But this is why I smile. If God rewards those who do not do his will, such as this, then surely how much more so will he reward those that do his will." This is the first story. The second one, again, they are traveling. They come to Mount Sophim, from which they would see the temple site. They rent their garments. And as they approach Jerusalem, they see a fox coming from the Holy of Holies. Again, Rabbi Akiva's colleagues, they begin to weep. And Rabbi Akiva is smiling. They ask him, "Why do you smile?" And he asks them, "Why do you weep?" So the rabbis answer, "About a place which is written, the non-Kohen who approaches shall die. Now a fox prowls over it. Should we not cry? Should we not weep?" And Rabbi Akiva gives an explanation why he smiles. He says, "This is why I smile." It's a pasuk. It says, "I shall summon trustworthy witnesses for myself, Uriah and Zechariah." Gemara asks, what is the connection between Uriah and Zechariah? Uriah prophecy during the first temple and Zechariah during the second temple. So we learn that the prophecy of Zechariah is dependent upon the fulfillment of the prophecy of Uriah. And what did they prophesy? Uriah prophesied that Zion shall be plowed over like a field. In other words, completely destroyed. And Zechariah prophesied that old men and old women shall return and sit again in Jerusalem, meaning Jews shall return again to Jerusalem, the rebuilding of the temple. And Akiva says, "I was afraid before I saw the fulfillment of Uriah's prophecy. I was worried that Zechariah's prophecy should not be fulfilled." So immediately I asked two kashas on this. But Rabbi Akiva was worried that a prophecy wouldn't come true. Surely he knew it would come true. And secondly, how is it that now he sees Uriah's prophecy come true with the destruction of the second temple? Surely he must have meant the first temple. That was when his prophecy was, at that time. So thanks to my chavrusas, I learned the teretz as follows: that really Uriah's prophecy had not come true with the destruction of the first temple. There was no plowing over of the field. It was a temporary destruction. It was overgrown with forests. The second temple was really more of a continuation of the first, a temporary placeholder, if you will. It wasn't until he literally saw the field plowed over, which was what made the other rabbis cry so hard and made him smile, because he knew that that really, technically, and exactly as the prophecy had been foretold, was it fulfilled, that the field had actually literally been plowed over, and that's what he saw. And then he knew that Zechariah wasn't talking about that building of the second temple. That wasn't his prophecy. His prophecy was the building of the final temple, the other temple, when all the Jews will return to Jerusalem. And I will finish the Masechta in Hebrew and give one more last thought on it, if you will. So that in mind, the Masechta finishes, Akshav sheniskaima nevuaso shel Uriah, v'yadua shenevuaso shel Zechariah, miskayemes. B'lashon hazeh amru lo, Akiva nichemtanu, Akiva nichemtanu. Now that the prophecy of Uriah has been fulfilled, and surely the prophecy of Zechariah will be fulfilled. And Rabbi Akiva's colleague said to him in these words, Akiva, you have comforted us. Akiva, you have comforted us. So what is this comfort? It's a beautiful ending. There's a beautiful message therein. What is this comfort that he gave them? I think both stories bring out the idea very well. It's very easy for us, in a finite point in time, or from a limited perspective, to see things not as they truly are. We must always keep in mind that the picture is greater, that God's plan and vision and understanding is far bigger, and that God is always with his people, the Jewish people, and he will fulfill his promise to us and bring us back to Israel. And I think these stories bring that out very well, because it's very easy to focus on the moment and to see all the things that aren't well in the world, that aren't good in the world. But we must always keep sight of the big picture, even though we may not understand all of it. We must keep our faithfulness in God and in his promises to us. I think this is a beautiful message that Chazal brings out at the end. With that, I'd like to say, Hadran Alach, Aleinu Hein Halokin, Uslika La Maseches Makkos. Hadran Alach, Eluhein Halokin, Uslika La Maseches Makkos. Hadran Alach, Eluhein Halokin, Uslika La Maseches Makkos. La nis nishe minach Maseches Makkos, v'la sis nishe minan. La bialama hadain, v'la bialama te'aseh. Hadran Alach, Maseches Makkos, Hadrach Alan. Datan Alach, Maseches Makkos, v'datach Alan. La nis nishe minach Maseches Makkos, v'la sis nishe minan. La bialama hadain, v'la bialama te'aseh. Hadran Alach, Maseches Makkos, Hadrach Alan. Datan Alach, Maseches Makkos, v'datach Alan. La nis nishe minach Maseches Makkos, v'la sis nishe minan. La bialama hadain, v'la bialama te'aseh. Yehi ratzon v'lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avosenu, shetehei sorasecha u'manusenu b'olam hazeh, ushei imanu li'olam haba. Chanina bar Papa, Rami bar Papa, Nachman bar Papa, Achayi bar Papa, Abba Mari bar Papa, Rafram bar Papa, Rakish bar Papa, Sorcha bar Papa, Ada bar Papa, Daru bar Papa. Ha'arav no Adonai Eloheinu es divrei sorasecha befinu ufifios amacha beis Yisrael. V'nikye nachnu v'tzaetzoenu v'tzoetzoe amacha beis Yisrael. Kolano yodei shemecha v'lomedei sorasecha. Me'oivai techakemeni mitzvoisecha ki li'olam hi li. Yehi libi samim bechukecha leman lo evosh. Le'olam lo eshkach pikudecha. Ki vam ki yisani baruch ata Adonai v'lamedeni chukecha. Amen, 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 sela va'ed. Modim anachnu lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avosenu. Shesamta chelkenu miyoshevei beis hamidrash. Lo samta chelkenu miyoshevei kiranos. She'anu mashkimim vehem mashkimim. Anu mashkimim lidivrei Sarah. Vehem mashkimim lidvarim betelim. Anu amelim vehem amelim. Anu amelim umkabelim sachar. Vehem amelim be'enam bekabelim sachar. Anu ratzim vehem ratzim. Anu ratzim lechaye ha'olam haba. Vehem ratzim liv'er shachas. Shne'emar. Va'ata Elohim toridem liv'er shachas. Anshe damim umirma lo yechetzu yimehem. V'ani aftach bach. Yehi ratzon lefanecha Adonai Elohai kishem she'azartani l'sayem Maseches Makkos kein ta'azreni l'haschil Masechtos usfarim acherim ul'sayimam lilmod ululamed lishmor v'la'asos ul'kayem es kol divrei salmud torasecha bi'ahava uschus kol hatanayim v'amarayim v'salmidei chachamim ya'amod li ulzari shalo samush haTorah mepi umepi zari v'zera zari ad olam v'sis kayem bi v'hiskalechecha tanche osach v'shechbecha tishmor alecha v'hakitzosa hi sisichecha ki vi yerbu yemecha v'yosifu lecha shanos chayim orech yamim b'mina Bismola, Osher, B'chavod. Adonai Oz, La'amo Yatain. Adonai Yivarech, Esamo, V'shalom.
Amen.